5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to IFB, Interfleet Broadcasting. I am New York Pete, and I'm here with my buddy, the Tipsy Toaster. Thanks for
Hello,
joining
everybody.
us on our, yes, and thanks for joining us. It's our pop culture sci-fi entertainment channel. And full disclosure, Chris and we grew up watching 70s and 80s TV, movies, animation, cartoons, and we bring our own unique spin to our little corner of the universe. And everybody also needs to know that we happen to be big Battlestar Galactica fans amongst all of the genres and everything else. We have a soft spot for BSG. So, Chris, how's it going?
Outstanding. We're doing well tonight. Just getting ready to hopefully get Lee Stringer on tonight. We have John One supposed to be coming on tonight too, and you know,
Yes,
we at least Lee is
absolutely.
a pretty amazing character. We just looked through all of his stuff that he's done, and can't wait to get to talk to him. So, and he's calling in
Yeah,
from
kind of cool.
Singapore.
Singapore. That's right. So we'll see how that plays out. Battlestar Bulletin Board. Sean Shallow's on with us. Brigitte from Austria's on with us. Lola at the Copa is on with us. And Chris from Down Under is on. And anybody else that I'm missing, send out a little quick chat so I can recognize you. Thanks for tuning in live, guys. I know that there's George's and other Chris's and a whole bunch of others that are on in the background, Razor Ramones and a whole bunch of others. So thanks for joining us. We're on, what is it? Yeah, George. George popped up. There you go, George. We are doing YouTube, we're doing Facebook, and we have Twitch up and running. So you guys, thanks for joining us. We're going to have a mighty guest on tonight. John One, like Chris told you, John One's coming up. And we have a couple other things, right? So it's the day, or yes, the right here, right now, as you watch this, you need to know that we are prepping for Awesome Con in Washington D.C. and there IFB is going to be there. Friday is panel day, so IFB has a panel, and that's going to be at a quarter to 7 p.m. So it's 6:45 p.m. on Friday, June 3rd, in Washington, D.C. at AwesomeCon Convention. We have a panel. So hope to see you guys on the panel or at the panel. And Eric Patton is on with us. Professor, thanks for joining us. Mediocre Modeler is on. You go, you rock, guys. Thanks for joining us. Like I said, all you guys, pop in and send us a quick little message. And before we go any further, we acknowledge all of the fans out there, because without you guys, where would our favorite shows be? Where would the state of fandom be? I'm not sure there'd be any. So we always make sure that we let everybody know that we appreciate their support. And Paul Roeder, greetings, warriors and Cylon Centurions. Greetings, Paul. Thank you for joining us. One of the admins and founders of many, many different groups, but the Colonial Warriors. He's also known as Commander Kane. Paul, thank you so much for joining us from the West Coast of the United States. And everybody else that's joining us and watching us in the syndication, in the rerun world. So launch run ready. You got that right, Paul. So I think the Tipsy Toaster is working the magic. I'm pretty sure that our guest, Mr. Stringer, is with us, and he is, oh yeah. So we got him in the green room, and it's a special treat because, like we said, he is coming in live from Singapore, of all places, which is pretty cool. And we mentioned a little bit of his career spanning a heck of a lot of great genre, film, TV, great stuff that we all love, and we'll talk about that. And in the meantime, I'm going to get Chris. And oh, you know what, guys? Almost forgot to thank. There's a couple of you that we have to thank for treating us to our drinks tonight, and I made some notes, and that, of course, is Fran Severn, author extraordinaire, and Brigitte from Austria, thank you, and David Alexander, all pitched in, and so they're treating us to drinks tonight. So, Chris, if you're ready, I am ready to toast. So, you just, as soon as I see you press the rest of those buttons, everybody get your drinks ready so that we can have a toast to all of the fandoms. I'm looking to see everything is a go. And Chris, are you ready?
Sure. So tonight, thank you for the donations of the qubits for our ambrosias and our I think it's dripping. It must be hot in your room. A little warm in there, Pete. I mean, good Lord.
A little bit.
So, anyways, Pete's got what do you got, Pete? Looks like
I have
Modelo.
Brewed in Mexico, my friend. This is south of the border of the United States.
South of the border.
Modelo.
Well, tonight I have, let's see, Hardywood Bourbon Barrel Raspberry Stout with vanilla beans.
Oh boy!
It says it is
that's cool.
Madagascar vanilla beans, bourbon barrel aged. Ooh, I love bourbon barrel aged. There's nothing like bourbon barrel aged. Madagascar vanilla beans, and this is brewed in somewhat close by. It's in Richmond, Virginia. So, brew with a purpose. It says it's a dessert beer to the core. All sorts of good stuff, and I can't wait to drink this one.
All right,
this one's
let's do
it.
Ready? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on! It can't. What is like stuck to the can, to the bottle?
It was a Klingon problem. It was, clinging onto the top.
It sure was. You got jokes tonight. You got jokes.
Hey, I'll be here all night.
Oh. All right, let's do it. Ready?
Ready?
1, 2, 3, go.
Oh man, this is so dark.
Oh, you got to get a spoon for yours, right?
Holy crap, that's dark. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh wow, yeah, that's awesome. That's like syrup, man.
That's dark.
All right, well, guys.
This is gonna be good.
Yeah, this is great beer too, Modelo. All right, well, Chris, you coined a phrase, and we just want to let everybody know we appreciate them. So go for it.
So it's what we live by. It's not just a phrase. It's what we live by. We do believe that the fans out there fuel the fleet. Those are the people who run the fandoms. They're the people who Hollywood should be listening to. And if they're listening right now, we want Battlestar Galactica back. But anyways, so they're not listening to us enough, evidently, or we're not yelling loud enough, one of the two. But we do believe that fans fuel the fleet, and we thank you for being here. We thank you for being fans, and we thank you for being who you are, the nerdy, crazy, sci-fi, fantasy nuts that are out there. You're amazing, and we appreciate you either showing up live or going on later on. And if you're not here, then you don't know what I'm saying anyway. So here's to you. We say fans fuel the fleet, and we really do believe that. So here's to you.
Here's to you guys. And George Zubelos, producer, filmmaker, actor, nanu to you too, my friend.
Oh my!
George Zubelos is going to join us at the panel that we are hosting at AwesomeCon in Washington D.C. So, George, thanks for tuning in. And let's see, where are we? We are. I think we're just about.
Well, I'm in D.C. I don't know where you are right now. You're a little spacey,
I don't
evidently.
Either. Yes, I am.
Oh my
but
gosh, that's good.
Is it really?
Oh my gosh.
Good. We're going to be peeling you off the
I didn't look at the alcohol content. What is it?
Oh, I'm sure it's high. But, however, We did tell you, and as promised, Mr. Lee Stringer is here with us, a visual effects connoisseur, director, producer. Um, he's been involved in all
Et
kinds of
cetera.
aspects. Oh
Unbelievable.
yeah, absolutely. The Ghost Bride, The Stranded, Star Trek Phase 2, Lego Legends of Chima, Iron Sky, Terra Nova, Star Wars, The Clone Wars,
Yeah, Terra Nova was amazing.
Trenches, Battlestar Galactica Razor, Nova Science Now, Captain Scarlet, Serenity, Teddy
Yay!
Scares. Yes.
Firefly.
Of course, the reimagined Battlestar Galactica TV series, The Robinsons Lost in Space. Oh, man. Van Helsing, Star Trek The Experience, Borg Invasion 4D, like you said, Firefly,
It might have been
Dan
easier just
Dare,
to list the things he wasn't involved in.
Star Trek Voyager. I mean, right? Oh, Roughnecks, the Starship
Oh, yes.
Troopers Chronicles, which
That
I
is
watched.
a really cool
Yes.
animated. If you haven't seen that before.
And oh, Star Trek the Motion Picture, Animator Foundation Imaging 2001 special version. However, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast.
Space Ghost. Wait, I gotta do that right. Hang on, which one is it?
Yeah, you do it right.
I think
Come on,
it's this
do it.
one.
Space
go.
Ghost. That's definitely not it.
No,
That's not
That's
it.
not it. Now you messed it up. Right, chance is over. There is something else in here.
Close. Anyways,
Oh, get out of here. I'm not going through the whole thing, and I'm
Oh.
not doing Lee justice.
Control
However,
yourself, my friend. You blow
yeah. Yes, I will. Battlestar Galactica: The Second Coming, visual effects animator modeler. How about that?
yeah,
Huh? Oh yeah.
that's a fun
So,
one too.
Yeah, that's a good
Like I
one.
said, it was easier to list what he wasn't involved in.
Yeah, no kidding. Shazbat from Paul Rober, and really enjoyed Terra Nova. That's Battlestar
Yeah, it was.
Baltimore
That was a
Shore.
really good show. I really enjoyed Terra Nova. That one and
Oh, yeah.
was it Evolution, the one where they lost electricity? That was a really good one too.
That was a really good one too. But Big Jim is here. Thanks for joining us, Big Jim. Can you give a birthday shout out to Countess Jill? Happy birthday from IFB. So since
Here we go.
we
Ready?
kind of, yeah, go for it. There we are. Yep. Happy birthday. Excellent. Your wish is our command. Star Trek TMP, Klingons and Nomans, foreheads, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, bottom line, Mr. Lee Stringer is here, and I think it's time for him to make his debut on Interfleet Broadcasting. We are honored, and thank you so much for taking your time out, Lee, to come on and talk with us and tell us about your experiences. Welcome to IFB, sir. How are you?
Thank you. Morning. I should say good evening. It's morning for me.
It's morning where you're at.
Oh, boy. Well, thanks.
The great thing about being here in the future is like whenever anybody says like, "Oh, I wonder what's going to happen when blah blah blah," or "I wonder what's going to happen," "Oh, Y2K is coming," "Oh, this coming," and I'm like, "It's okay. I'm in the future. It's already happened here, and it's all good."
Well, if you can just give us the actual like lottery numbers for
right.
today.
That I'm still working on that one. I'm still working on that one.
Hey, there's limits. There's limits. Even he has limits. But Lee, thank you so much. I think it's safe to say that you're out there on business and not vacation. Is that correct?
No vacation. I first actually moved out here in 2008 to work on a little project with a small company that some people have heard of called Lucasfilm, and I
Never heard of them.
to work on this Star Wars thing. I heard it caught on. I heard it was popular.
Yeah, it's
Star Trek. It was as a no.
I did that one. I did
Yeah,
that
you've done
one.
that. You've done the
It was another
trifecta there.
one, and then, yeah. So no, I was fortunate enough to work on the Clone Wars for a period, and that brought me out to Singapore. So I haven't been here since then, but I've been here on and off since then, and I returned about 5 years ago, and I've been here for the last 5 years. So
wow.
because I met my now wife while I was here, the first time, and so I had a fairly, pretty good reason to come back.
Of course, where the heart is, correct?
Yes. So how's
So
the
Lee,
delay between? Usually it's pretty good. I just want to make sure.
Zero delay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah. So Lee, in terms of work, you've done so many different things. I just wanted to get out of the way. Your second coming in Battlestar Galactica. What was it like actually working with Richard Hatch? If you would tell us a little bit about that.
Right. It was great. I mean, it's funny because this morning I was trying to remember exactly how I got involved with Second Coming, because it was a while ago. It was 23, 24 years ago, and some of the circuits are a little bit worn out. So I don't remember exactly, but I remember. I'm pretty sure, if I recall, because the internet was still around, and there was was already around, but in the early days. And if I recall rightly, Richard actually put out a request online, probably on like AOL or something, looking for people to help with the project. And I kind of jumped at it. Now, when I first contacted him, it was either right as or just before I got hired to move out to Los Angeles. I was actually, at that point, I don't want to say I was a hobbyist. I had done some professional work, but I was still trying to make my break. And so I was almost like working on anything I could. And right around the time when things were happening, I got hired to work on Star Trek Voyager, and I was actually in the process of moving out to California. So it was this whirlwind of moving out to California, starting to work on a big show that was currently on air, and then meeting with Richard, which was it was one of those things where you kind of, is this what LA is really like? Do you just kind of meet with people that you grew up with and that influenced you as a kid? But he was very, very normal, very, very down to earth, very, very welcoming. I mean, the first time I met him, literally, we are at his house, sitting in his living room. There's like about a dozen of us, just kind of got together so that he could tell us what was going on with this project, what was needed, and you're in this kind of surreal kind of moment. To be honest, you're trying, where am I? But you're also, inside. I'm a fan. I'm a fan as much as anybody out there is. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't. I mean, I've been fortunate that I've managed to work on many of the projects, or the later versions of projects related to the projects that got me influenced as a kid. And of course, Battlestar was definitely a big one of those. I had the Mattel Viper as a kid. I remember having that one, the one that had the strange extension barrel that went in the middle that made it into a long missile. You know the one I mean?
Yeah.
Which even as a kid, I went, well, what's this bit?
It's like it's not in the show, but it's cool.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't remember that in the show, but I had I had a Viper as a kid. So yeah, inside, I'm a total fan. I'm a total, like, where am I? And then, but I'm trying to project that I'm calm and a professional, and I'm here to help the project and whatever. So, which has happened to me a lot of times. Where you've got to balance that in and out of what what you're really thinking, and what you're and what you're projecting, to make sure that people don't think you're some crazy fan.
Yeah,
Lee,
you're not
how
too
do
desperate, right?
So how do you keep yourself going? How do you get to? I mean, obviously, breaking in is one thing, and then just going from job to another. Do you have to go to Singapore to do this stuff, or what's it like?
Well, I mean,
here's the name of that, by the way. It was a stellar
I've been
probe.
both fortunate and fortunate that I've worked on projects all over the place. I was in Los Angeles for a while. I've been here, I've jumped around, which is both good and bad. It's really good to move around for projects, because you get to experience new things. You get to work with different people in different cultures. You get to learn from them. They learn from you. You get to meet. I mean, I know people now all over the world, and then those people then go off and work on projects in other places. So it's a big kind of when people talk about networking, visual effects is definitely sort of a lot of that, because we come together for a project, and then we go off and we work on other projects. It's very but the downside of that is that it's a real pain having to keep pack up and move. You don't have there's no such thing as security, but that's in the film and television industry anyway. There's no real people worry about job security, and I'm like, well, the project I'm on right now, I finish in 5 weeks, and then I don't know. Apart from taking a vacation, I don't know what's next. So it's
Wow.
good and bad.
We have one of our fans and supporters from the Battlestar Bulletin Board, Sean Shallow, who is the founder and admin, who's constantly creating a lot of content and a big fan of your work and science fiction and Battlestar Galactica, wants to know, which project are you most proud of and why?
Ooh, I do get asked that one a lot. I have to say it's Firefly. Nothing
Yes.
against Galactica.
Oh, wow, interesting.
And and really, because we won the Emmy for it, and that doesn't
Right.
happen every day. So, I kind of have to pick that. But it also was a really, really good. It was a fun project. It was a good project to be on. This was, and to be honest, because of Firefly, we did Galactica. So now I was chasing Galactica. There's a story behind that, but Firefly kind of led to Galactica, and Firefly came from working on Star Trek, and so pretty much not all, but the bulk of the effects crew on Firefly. And you got to remember, this was 20 years ago. So when I say the effects crew, we're talking less than 20 people. You look at
Wow.
VFX now on shows, and they go on for you look at a Marvel movie in the cinema, and the effects list goes on for 20 minutes, because there's just a lot. Those shows are, those films are just insane in the amount of effects that they have. So on things like Voyager and Firefly and Galactica in that period, we were working on pretty, as I say, less than 20 people most of the time, the size of the team. So it was, you were there doing everything, a bit of everything. You were, and Firefly was kind of, and again, Firefly. I want to really point out that Firefly really, as far as VFX, led to the new Galactica in many, many ways, and it kind of came out of all of us working on Star Trek. And Star Trek, you got to remember, we were working on Star Trek at the end of its, what I call the Berman run. So going from Next Gen, DS9, Voyager. I was only working on the very, very end, season 5, 6, 7 of Voyager, and then some of the crew were working on Enterprise and that. I didn't work on Enterprise. A brief bit, but not really. Anyway, on Star Trek, there was a different work ethic, because you had, I don't want to say a machine, but you had a machine that had been going since the mid 80s or late 80s on Next Gen, DS9, and then Voyager. So you had people that had been there. You had the way they worked. You had the way they wanted stuff, the way they did stuff that went through, and there was a bit kind of regimented. And you got a bunch of us who I was going to say young, but we weren't even young at that point. But we were all in early 30s or late 20s or whatever. And we were all eager, and we were all trying to to impress, and we're all trying to do stuff. And the thing with Star Trek was that there was a set way of doing things, and so there was definitely limitations in what we. So when Firefly came along, it released us. There was we had a whole new way of working. We had a whole new way. We basically kind of decided how we wanted to do stuff, and. Lonnie Persty, who was the effects supervisor on that, he had worked previously with Joss Whedon, and Tim Minear, who were the creators of Firefly, and they gave us a pretty decent freedom to kind of come up with what we were doing and how we did it. And we weren't boxed in, so we kind of had this release, and so we kind of restarted everything and came up with a different way of working, and I think it shows on screen because again we had a very, very small budget, but I think we managed to get some pretty cool stuff on screen, and that directly led into Galactica. So, sorry, long answer.
No, it's
great.
Yeah, Lee, that's what our fans want to hear you talking. They don't, they get enough of us. We have a chance to hear this from the inside. You're like the inside guy who was it. We want to hear your stuff. We do have a follow-up, Lee, and it's, what was it like to work with Joss Whedon?
It was, I don't want to, there's been some problems, controversies of late. I don't want to get in that because I never experienced or saw any of what has been alleged, but, like a lot of writer producers, directors, he knew what he wanted. And that was pretty much what it boiled down to. So whether it was an actor, a set, a script, an effects shot or whatever, it was like he knew what he wanted, and so if you came to him with a new idea, he was very for it, which was great. As I say, we were on Star Trek. Most of the team was on Star Trek before, where we had 5 producers between us and anybody who could actually make it, and so we never dealt with the directors on Star Trek. We never had any real direct conversations with, say, Rick Berman, but we had. We would then deal with Peter, who was the post producer. So the thing is, on Star Trek, you had I was at the bottom of the pile at that point, and then you had my direct supervisor. You then had the episode supervisor. You then had the senior effects supervisor. You then had the post producer. You then had the executive producer. So you had this like chain of event, of people to get through when you wanted to do something. On Firefly, there was us, there was Lonnie, and there was Joss, and it was
wow.
And so it was very, very direct. So we could suggest stuff. I was on set a few times. One of the first times when I was like on Star Trek, we weren't even allowed to go on set. On Firefly, it was actually just down the road from us. So we were like, yeah, let's go, and there was, I'm not saying there was a few times where we went, we need to go and check on something for research, which we did. There was a legitimate
I would have done that.
But also, we were like, hey, we can just go down to the set anytime we want. We could just drive onto the 20th Century Fox lot and, and just driving on, I'd been to studios before and I'd been on the lots before. I'd never been to Fox before, actually. It was the first time I've been there. And, one of the cool things about the old studios, the Hollywood studios or some of the ones that are in Europe, is there's just history everywhere, so when you go to Paramount, when you go to Warner Brothers, when you go to Universal, you go to Fox, it's just the you kind of look and you go, well, that was filmed over there, or and on the sound stages they have like these plaques that have all the stuff listed that's been in there, and some of this stuff goes back to like the 20s and 30s. Some of these stages, so it's just kind of it's weird. You're just there in the middle of this, and it's kind of cool. So we could go down. I mean, and if we had a question for Joss, it was not out of we could go show him stuff and whatever. Now we generally didn't, because he's there filming stuff. He's got more than enough to be busy with. So you just kind of hang back and opportunity to ask a question or whatever. But usually we would just be there for research. So yes, we were able to work either directly with or through Lonnie, who was the visual effects supervisor. But the great thing with that was that we could get feedback very, very quickly. The other great thing about that is that we could actually just make up stuff and make suggestions, because the one thing that he was very interested in, he knew what he wanted. As I said, he knew what he wanted. He was very focused. So, he wants the best of what he wants. But if you bring him an idea and say, hey, we want to try this, or can we do this? I would say 9 out of 10 times he would be like, well, that's better. Okay, we'll do that. That was basically the answer. Every so often, we would get, no, I want what I originally wanted or whatever, and then, okay, well, it's okay. We don't fight all our battles. And to give it a good example, Kyle Toucher, who was one of the crew, he, to be honest, I mean, we were only on it for a year, but about, I don't know, we all lived in Los Angeles. We actually most on the outsides of Los Angeles, and it's on the edge of the desert. And if you watch the beginning of Firefly, or most of the episodes of Firefly, there's a lot of episodes that take place on planets that are dirt. It's a bit like Star Wars with Tatooine. It's like, oh, we're back.
Yeah.
In the sand. And Firefly was, oh, we're back just outside Los Angeles on the edge of the desert, because that was right there. It was down the road. So Kyle had been playing around with some landscape generating software, and he did a fly through of a snow scene, because he was he's born and bred, grew up in California. So, but he was just like, so he did a shot. I think it was a shot or two shots of Serenity flying through this canyon, through this valley. It's snow and everything, mountains. And he just did it kind of on the side of it as his side thing, and basically sort of sent it over and went, this is just a test. We're just playing around with some landscape generation stuff. And they saw that and they went, oh, because you remember, this was 20 plus years ago, 20 years ago. I know, it's crazy. It feels like it was just a few years ago. It really does. So the thing is nowadays we've got these virtual ones, we've got real time stuff, we've got digital green screens that you can put anything in. You can go anywhere at any time. I mean, even on a Zoom call or whatever, you can change the background and you can be standing next to the Eiffel Tower or whatever. I mean, in real time. 20 years ago, that sort of thing, you had to do it on green screen and it never looked right and whatever. So anyway, a lot of times we were limited to the locations that we could film in, and there wasn't too many snowy mountains within, there are, but a bit too far. So anyway, we send that test off, and they were like, wow, you can do this. We can go there. We can have a planet that's a snow planet. We're like, yeah, we can create pretty much anything at this point. Of course, we couldn't. You don't tell them that. The usual thing you say, yeah, we can, and then you figure out how to do it afterwards. Especially on a television budget when you didn't have a lot of money at that point. And so, if you look, one of the, I apologize, I forget the actual episode name, but it was either the last one or the second to last episode, where with the soldier in the coffin who's sort of dead but not dead. That's on a snow planet. And that script changed purely because of Kyle doing this test and showing that we can do stuff on a snow planet. And so that's how we say, how close can we work with Joss and the actual team. That's pretty much how close. I mean, we were close enough that we could make suggestions and ideas, and they would either go with it or say, no, we want our original one. Anyway, breathe.
This is awesome.
It is. We love it, Lee. We know that the Firefly fans are they're very they're into it. Just you want to. I don't know where you put them on the scale, but they love Firefly.
Yes,
the brown coats. They're well known. They're respected for
one of the pictures
that
I
love.
sent you, one of the pictures I sent you is actually me standing with a couple of fans, as in that folder that I uploaded.
Yep,
the
I got
pictures. I don't know if you have that one. Yeah. So this was last year. So, and I say last year, like 6 months ago. I was in the UK. A friend of mine runs the London Comic Con, and so they had me there doing a talk and whatever. And I met these two. So these weren't the only two Firefly fans that were in costume and walking around. But I met these two, and it's like, wow, it's 20 years later. We did it for 1 year, and here's this couple who, and I forget if they met through Firefly, but they're both they're both absolutely into Firefly, and here I'm in London, and yeah, so yes, the fans. I mean, but the fans of sci-fi are pretty active all around. I mean, Galactica, but Firefly definitely is an enigma, for want of a better word, because it was so short. It only had didn't even have a full season really.
14 episodes,
point.
Yeah.
15 episodes at that point wasn't a full season. So we had and one movie, but they keep it alive and it's wonderful. It's confusing at times that it's still so very, very popular, but it's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah, I've met many fans, yeah.
Yeah, what's it like to? So, I mean, you make such an impact on the fandom. I mean, what's it feel like when somebody comes up to you and says, oh, I love the Firefly, and I mean, you helped create that world, which is why we love talking to people like yourself. But how does that feel? I mean, you made an impact that's going to last generations.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit surreal, to be honest, because you got to remember that I was the same as them when I was 20 years ago, and I still am. I mean, there's still places, people, whatever that are. I mean, I'm inspired by a massive amount of people, and luckily some of them I've met, some of them I've got to work with. So no, I am them, and when that was at a convention where I go and do a talk and whatever, and I've only done maybe a dozen of those or whatever. I haven't done too many conventions because I'm not I'm not exactly a crowd drawer, but I hope that when I'm there I can well, thank you, but the problem is everybody wants to see the pretty people who are on the screen, but it's okay. It's because, to be honest, when you go to the shows, you do realize that sci-fi fans especially, they are very much interested in the whole picture. They're interested in the people who do the makeup. They're interested in the writers. Sci-fi people aren't completely fixated on just the actors and the actresses. They do really like when behind the scenes people come along, because they don't dig us out very often, and we and to be honest, I much prefer to be behind the camera than be out there. But it is, it's wonderful. It's a bit surreal, but it's great because, as I say, I was influenced by other people, and I got in. One of the ways that I managed to get into this field, because everybody says to me, "How did you make your break? How did you get in?" That's always like the big question, because everybody wants to know. And it was because I met somebody who I didn't know, but I knew through another friend, who was at a convention giving a talk about working on Babylon 5 back in the mid-90s. So I met a guy called Mojo, Adam Leibowitz, who you should have on your show, because the weird thing was, so he ended up hiring me to work on Star Trek Voyager. I in turn then hired him to work on Galactica. So come full circle, and he is as big a Galactica nut as I am, maybe bigger. He's got the full Colonial Warrior outfit, which he would always wear at Halloween.
Oh my gosh!
I think he also wore it other times, but I have no proof of that. But
in the bedroom,
right? So. So we, to be honest, we are fans. We wouldn't be doing this, I think, unless we were. So, but it is, yeah. I keep using the word surreal, but it is a little bit surreal to then be somebody who's. But I want to help. If I can help somebody who is learning VFX or wanting to get into film and television, either as a warning or as an encouragement, I will do what I can. I will do what I can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at one point didn't you teach?
Yeah, I for a couple of years visual effects in Florida at the Dave School, which is just Dave isn't run by a guy called Dave, although a guy called Dave did work there.
Dave's not here, man.
Yes, he's not here, but it stands for Digital Animation and Visual Effects, which is great when you say I work at the Digital Animation and Visual Effects School. They just they shorten it to Dave, but you always have to explain to people. So yeah, I did teach for a while, and I definitely enjoyed that, and I have done talks at other colleges and things like that. Kind of babbling on like I do now, but usually I'm like showing more, some stuff and giving examples and whatever. And I do things, so I'm sure if there's a gap between work and whatever, if somebody asks me, I'll go back and do that again. So,
Lee, one of our teammates here, John One, who's our news anchor, he wants to know. Do you have any input in the possible remake of Firefly?
Not at the moment, no. I'm too far away, but I would be very interested to know what's going on with it. Since Disney took over, who knows? But no, I don't. I have no current immediate. I have. I think I can talk about it. Yeah, I can talk about it. So, ever since it was cancelled, now one of the things that, and again, I'm going to babble on for a bit, and I'm going to deviate.
Oh, please do.
Make it interesting. All right. I've been fortunate in that I don't just work on visual effects. I've also worked on about a dozen animated projects. And the weird thing was one of the first big projects that I worked on when I moved to California was the Roughnecks, the Starship Trooper Chronicles. Which in 1999, you look at it now, it's definitely a bit dated. But in 1999, it was way ahead of anybody else was doing. And so the thing is I actually got hired to work on Voyager. I literally did the Beverly Hillbilly thing, and I everything, and I moved to California, and I got out there right around. Actually, it was when was it? It was around May of '99, and the TV seasons. Then you go from I think was it September to May, and there's a summer hiatus. And so I literally I got hired to work on Voyager. I packed everything up. I moved out there. And they went, and you remember this was back when people actually had to call people or send mail, like envelope stamps, yeah. And so the communication wasn't like on your phone where you're constantly chatting to somebody on the other side of the planet in real time, on video for free. It was the communication was a bit slower then. So literally I showed up and they went, "Oh, we should have let you know that we're finished Voyager for this year. We're
oh no!
Oh,
can you come back? It's like, can you come back in August when we start up?" And I'm like, "That's 3 months away. What?" So I'm like, luckily I had a friend to stay at. So I was sleeping on my friend's couch, and then actually about few days later, it was like end of May, I got a call and they went, you're still available, right? And I'm like, yeah.
Uh-oh. It is Singapore.
I'd already been to visit at the office, and I'd looked over people's shoulders and seen that they're working on this animated project, and I'm like, that looks really good. But it was just a brief visit, Anyway, they were like, we need people. We need people working on this Starship Troopers show. Would you be interested? And I'm like, when do I start? So when I first got out to California, I first worked. I'd been out and worked in California the year before and a couple of years before, but not full time. I hadn't actually moved there. This was my move. So I got to work on Starship Troopers. So my first big project was actually not visual effects. It was in animation. And there's a whole story behind that as well, but I'll deviate. I'll go back. So I've now flip-flopped. So I worked on Voyager, and then I worked on another animated show, and then I was on things like a Firefly, and then Galactica, and then I was on another animation show. I have visual effect animation. And so after Firefly was cancelled, we were all like, how do we keep this going? And we did Serenity had come along, and that hadn't really worked and whatever. And I was like, why can't we do an animated show? Because one of the things of bringing Firefly back, because Firefly was one of those main pop afterwards. I mean, it was one of the DVD sellers of all time, and movies happened because of the DVD sales. Because people were these, they went, maybe they'll buy a movie ticket as well. So everybody kept talking about, how do we bring it back? How do we? And then, of course, the actors have gone off and done other shows. All the sets have been put into the dumpster, and now landfill, and everybody's gone in different directions. And I went, well, if you do an animated show, you don't have to build the sets. The actors can come in whenever they're available because we record their voices separately. We could do an animated show, and that was I kind of proposed it, and they were there was kind of an interest, a little suspect, and we did a little test, some drawings and stuff, and it did go it did go up to the top and was looked at and was kind of intrigued. I think, to be honest, at the beginning, and this was actually the first time I really kind of got into it, was probably about 3-4 years, maybe 5 years after it had been cancelled. So the dust had settled, but I think that Tim and Joss were now already busy working on other stuff. I can't remember if Joss Whedon had gone off and done started into the movies. I remember when he did Avengers. I think that was his first really, really massive film. But it was all around. No, it was before that. It was before Avengers. But anyway, everybody was busy. Like, yeah, that's cute. Interesting, whatever. And it never really went anywhere. But I didn't let up. So about 5 years ago, I did actually contact Tim again and was like, how about this? And this was before the whole Disney thing. Mm-hmm. And so I've always wanted to do an animated Firefly, because I think, and when I say animated in an adult animated thing, if you look at what's going on,
there's a lot of those out now.
Robots, that type of animation. I'm talking about, not because one of the biggest problems in a lot of, for want of a better word, the Western world is that animated kids cartoons. And you'd think after things like Simpsons and Family Guy and whatever, that people would understand that animation is just another way of telling a story. But it's still considered a kid's cartoon. If you watch some, I'm watching Pacific Rim Black on Netflix right now, and that's actually kind of very, very much in the kind of, if you look at that was the sort of show I was envisioning, because that's not, I mean, it kind of looks like a kid's show, and then you watch it and you go, this is not a kid's show. You're like, oh, it's little, poof, oh, he's dead. Okay,
Well, they wouldn't put that in front of the little kiddies, would they?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, hey, there's another young character playing with and their head blew off. Okay. But maybe not. But anyway, so I've always wanted to do. Sorry, I as I say, I deviate easily. I've always wanted to do an animated Firefly. And even came up with some ideas. The funniest one, which kind of ended up, was one thing Joss Whedon really didn't want in Firefly. He wanted no kids, he wanted no cute robots, and he didn't really want any aliens. And he didn't want any aliens. Wanted to keep it kind of Earth-based. That's why you'll notice there's no R2-D2, and there's no Wesley Crusher, and there's no, cute aliens or whatever. I'm guessing maybe if the show had gone on a bit longer, things, but the initial that was sort of one of his things. He wanted to keep it as it was, and that's fine. So I was trying to think of, like, how do we bring, Book into the show. Now, Book was a little bit harder to do, but I know we're meant to be talking about Galactic here, but I keep talking about Firefly.
Oh, you're fine. Sci-fi is sci-fi. We love it all.
Okay, cool. I want to make sure that we're like, this is going to be a Galactic show. Okay, no.
No.
So my thing was, I was like, how do we bring back Wash? And
he's dead.
My thought, he's dead. But I'm like, so my thought was that we had a robot pilot, but we have a robot pilot that has been programmed with Wash's kind of AI, as it were, like his personality. So you'd have this kind of sarcastic, slightly arrogant, slightly goofy robot. Not goofy in the Johnny Five kind of goofy thing, but
I can
just
see a
with
robot
little,
with a Hawaiian shirt on.
Yeah, possibly, or painted on maybe,
Yep.
or something like that. But anyway, so I was trying to figure out how, and then because Alan's got such a brilliant, he's done a lot of animation, and he's done robots before, and I was just like, I think he would be able to make. And then I saw Rogue One.
Yep.
So Rogue One with the K2SO, the robot that Alan does the voice for, that is the pilot that flies the ship half the time. And I went, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, well, at least it wasn't a bad idea, because I'm like, they made it brilliant. And I had nothing to do with it, of course, but I saw that robot in Rogue One and I went, it would have worked. Okay, good. At least I feel like I wasn't completely crazy.
And feel a little vindicated.
And, I was like, yeah, exactly. Because you do come up with ideas and you think, is that a stupid idea? So anyway, bringing back Firefly, I've always wanted to do an animated show, maybe it would still work. I don't know. But anyway, never say never. So as far as the new show goes, which was the original question, I've currently got no involvement with it at all. I think I'd be very interested to know more, and hope it would happen. What will happen now that it's under Disney?
Right.
Who knows? I don't know. And to be honest, like Galactica with the Galactica movie, that the rumors resurface every 2 or 3 years that there's the Galactica movie's coming along.
Oh my
gosh,
yeah. You're not kidding there.
The first 2 or 3 times I'm like, hey, I want to know more. What's going on? And then after the 6th time, I'm like, okay, well, just when it actually happens, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very familiar with that. It was, there's a movie, and we're looking to, Sam Esmail is going to do a reboot of the 2004, and there's all that good stuff, but nobody's saying anything.
Yeah, and there was actually some communication with the Sam Esmail reboot. Nothing that I can talk about, but mainly because nothing actually happened. There was basically some talk. There was some, who's interested? Can we make this happen? And to be honest, that was right at the beginning of COVID, and so like a lot of things, I don't know where the current enthusiasm level is and where the current development is, because so much, it's actually been amazing how much production has been, been able to continue through. But there's been a lot of projects that have just kind of fizzled out because of it, because it's very difficult to move forward. So I don't know where we're at with that at the moment. So Lee would love to, but yeah.
Lee, just to circle back a little bit, since you mentioned Galactica, Eric Padden, Professor Padden, who's also been a guest on our show, is an amazing writer, and he's been involved with Battlestar Galactica, the fandom, for decades now. He wants to know, and it's a topic and a question that Chris and I were talking about right before we started the show. There is supposedly a 30-minute version of The Second Coming. What happened to it, if there was?
Okay, right. All right. There was a lot of extra footage that was shot for Second Coming, because whenever you shoot something, you only you shoot a lot more footage than there's actually used. But as far as an actual, I mean, and there was a script that they did. There was never anything either completed or, as far as I'm aware, actually like edited together into something with placeholders for things missing. There possibly was an early like rough assembly, but yeah, there was definitely a lot more shot. And there definitely was a script. I don't have a copy of that script before anybody asks. I know you'll ask.
Yeah, no kidding.
But and in fact, I don't even recall ever seeing that script. I definitely know there was one. So Richard did write essentially a pitch script, which was, they went and they filmed a bunch of stuff with a lot of the original actors, and they made costumes and whatever. And that, you got to remember that the Second Coming was almost entirely funded by Richard. He actually took out a second mortgage on his house to actually fund the Second Coming. That's how focused he was on it. And that was used for doing the filming and the editing. All of the a lot of the stuff was done by volunteers. All the effects stuff was done by volunteers. I think a lot of the sound and the editing was all done by volunteers. Most of it was done by volunteers, but there's certain stuff like renting equipment, renting cameras, and making costumes. You've got to have some money, and I don't recall how much he only took out, but I'm going to say it was like $50,000, maybe $100,000 that he personally put in. I know it was a decent amount, and for somebody who's an actor who didn't have a current show, he put everything in. He kind of he really put everything into trying to get this redone. So yes, there was more footage, but as far as I know, there was never a serious edit or a real edit. I think what it was that they realized, okay, we've got all this. We kind of use this more as a pitch piece. What do we need to actually do to get it done? And I think they realized that producing a couple of hundred visual effect shots for doing a 30-minute or an hour-long, whatever it was, piece was just not practical and not affordable. So they went with the shorter, But I maintain to this day, and whenever anybody asks me about it, I maintain fully that I believe the New Galactica wouldn't have happened if it hadn't have been for Richard's Second Coming preview.
Oh wow!
Now
That's
I
interesting.
also don't believe. Sorry, let me just adjust the floating head. And this isn't some fancy backdrop. This is just hiding my Lego collection, which is actually in plastic boxes. So I have interesting stuff over there and over there, but it's not very photogenic. So I just went with the put a black. So hopefully it doesn't fall down, hit me on the head, and then you'll see all these boxes behind me. So yes, but it's just weird because I look like this floating head. All right. So I seriously maintain that Richard was the spark that got the New Galactica going, but I also believe that Universal never took him seriously. So he went into Universal wanting to do a new show. He did the pitch piece. He went in with a script. He went in with a pitch. I think that they the people there, and I wasn't there, so I can't say, but just my impression was that they went, "Hi, nice to meet you, Richard. Yeah, nice. Okay, thank you. We'll talk about it and we'll think about it." And I honestly don't believe that they were ever serious, because it is very difficult for an actor to kind of become a producer director. Now, that's happened a lot. It has happened. It's not unheard of. But whenever you make something, everybody wants a track record. Everybody wants to see what you've done before. And when you've got somebody who's only been an actor and now suddenly wants to be a writer, producer, director, and there's always skepticism. And I'm not saying that Richard couldn't do it. This is my personal opinion. I don't think that the studio execs at Universal ever really thought that his proposal was real from him. But what I really do believe is that you had some young execs or some younger execs at Universal that went, we've got this project in our archives that we own. Maybe we can do something with it. I really believe that it got them to dig it out and look at it. And then at the same kind of time, or just after that, actually, no, it would have been just after that, was when Tom DeSanto and Bryan Singer became involved, which initially I'm not sure if that was directly responsible. I mean, I know that they were fully aware of Richard's project, but Tom DeSanto is also a mega Galactica fan, like really serious. I haven't seen him in a very long time, but I do have people who's in touch with him. Just so you know, he's producer on these movies called Transformers.
Yeah.
And
He left Battlestar to go to Transformers.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things going on there, but basically, so him and Bryan Singer, had done basically they'd done some other projects, but then they did, if I recall, X-Men, which was huge. And so when you get a huge success, the studios immediately come to you and say, "What do you want to do next?" And Tom said, "I want to do Battlestar Galactica," but they were under contract, if I recall, at Fox. Galactica's owned by Universal. And so the Tom DeSanto, Bryan Singer Galactica that did go into production before 9/11 was being done at Fox. It wasn't being done at Universal. Ironically, Serenity was done at Universal and was effectively licensed from Fox. Firefly. So Serenity, the movie, is not a Fox project. So anyway, that's just the studio politics and weird thing. So Tom, wanted to do this Galactica thing, and I know that he was in touch with Richard and whatever. And then when that all fell through, then we have the Galactica that became the Galactica that we know, Ron's project. But I really, really believe that Richard's project kind of brought Galactica back to the people at the studio's attention and kind of went, yeah, maybe this is a project that we can revive. So
maybe
anyway,
we can make money from this.
maybe, yeah. So that's my take on it. So, but anyway, Richard was wonderful. I last saw Richard in Seattle at the last, I say big Galactica convention. It not being a big convention, but the Galacticon in what year was that? About 4 years ago.
Oh yeah, something like that. Maybe 5.
So that was maybe 5. Yeah. So,
yeah, just about. That was like the last. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
wow,
we'd kept in touch. So anyway, yes. Sorry, there isn't a long, unfortunately.
So,
but
Lee, outside of Richard, who would have all of that footage?
There was his producer. I'll have to look up all the names and stuff. Maybe I can put you in touch with them and editor. I have been in touch with some of them. Let me dig through my. The trouble is, all those emails will be on my old AOL account, which I haven't opened.
Of course,
AOL. Oh my gosh,
ancient history.
Does anybody even use AOL anymore?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Who was it? Just recently, actually, I had an email from somebody at AOL.com, and I went, "Wow, didn't know." But apparently, yeah, people still do. Apparently, I remember reading something not too long ago that people do still actually use dial-up. There are actually some people somewhere that still.
Wow, where's that?
Anyway,
Is that like on some remote island somewhere in a parallel universe?
Singapore.
They're in the Arctic. They're in the Arctic.
Oh, no.
That's that Arctic station.
Yeah. I'm not sure how my signal is getting to you, but we've got a good fiber optic connection here. So
I think whoever's on the pedals, Lee, is getting tired because it's now it's getting a little. Once in a while, it gets a little choppy. So we got to get out there and feed whoever that is. That's kind of like running the treadmill.
The Gilligan.
Right.
Yeah, the Gilligan.
Yeah, I can see like the output window on your, and it's getting a little blocky, which is strange.
Well, yeah, we actually lowered your return so we can get a better quality input from our end. So we had that capability.
Yes, one of our supporters and fans, Lee, Chris Laskowski from Down Under, says that 2015 Seattle Galacticon 4 is probably the one you're referring to.
7 years ago, Yeah,
Yeah,
the years fly by.
it's incredible. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So Lee, tell us a little bit about where you're at now. And well, one question, personal question is, have you written a book, and are you intending on writing a book? And where are you now? And where's the trajectory going? What are you working on now? And what are you doing?
Right. No, I haven't written a book. No, I have no plans to write a book. I am definitely not a writer. I'm that age and that era that grew up on TV and the very early of VHS and stuff like that. And so as a kid, I was very much, I didn't read books even. It's weird. I have a massive library of books now, and I read a reasonable amount, which is still a terrible amount. So I really like Audible now.
Oh, heck yeah. Yay, somebody else.
I do that while I'm doing other stuff. I can, and I go, yeah, no, well, a bit, but it's like, reading it. So, but the good thing is I actually can read some books that I really want to read. I might end up buying the book and then buying the Audible so I can listen to it because the book. Anyway, so I haven't written a book. I have no intention of writing a book. I am a terrible writer. I was terrible at English when I was in school. I can't spell for, luckily nowadays we have the little squiggly red line under things when they're spelt wrong. That allows me to look like I can spell, but I can't. So anyway, I had a lot of, I've been lucky in a lot of ways, especially, with work, and I've worked on some really good projects. Maybe I could do a pamphlet, maybe a little leaflet or something, maybe 2 pages, 2 sides, that'd be about it. But anyway, no. So where am I at now? Where am I working? All right, I'm obviously living in Singapore right now. I'm working on a project for Netflix, Netflix Asia. I still can't say the name of it, but we're about 5 weeks from being finished. It's essentially a 13-part kids show. It's the way I can describe it. It's kind of like a Goose or Scooby-Doo type of thing, live action. So it's basically like these four kids, and I say kids, they're teenagers, live in a generic kind of an Asian town. One of them's British as an exchange student. One of them's Australian. One of them's Malaysian. One of them is sort of a Chinese. And so it's basically a mishmash of kids in this sort of international school. Weird things go on in their town. It's not like Stranger Things, but it's sort of, it's that kind of thing. You got kids, weird going on. Let's go investigate what's going on. So it plays a lot on mythology and ghosts and demons and vampires and all sorts of stuff.
That sounds amazing.
So it's fun. I signed up for it in 2019, and we're now into 2020. It was about a 9-month project, starting at the beginning of 2020, and then we all know what happened then. 2.5 years later. It's been 2.5 years. We've had 2 big delays. One big delay in production getting started because of COVID, of course. We then filmed last year. I have to remember. I have to think. Was it last year or the year before? No, we filmed.
It does. It blends together because of COVID.
Yeah. What year was it? I feel like Robin's coming out of Jumanji. What year is it?
That's a good one.
So we filmed in Indonesia last year, just across from Singapore. You can actually see the studio from Singapore. It's weird. There's an island just off the coast. So we filmed there last year. Then we had another COVID delay at the end of last year. And we had to do some more filming at the beginning of this year. And now we're finally finishing up. So anyway, that's what I'm currently working on. 13 episode, sort of half-hour episode. live action. It'll be coming to Netflix sometime. I don't know, maybe August. It's probably September, something like that. Maybe they'll do it as a Halloween, something like that. So, yeah. Well, as I say, I'm about a month from being done. So in the height of it. I'd worked on a couple of other local Netflix projects that you mentioned at the beginning. One was called Stranded, which was done in Thailand. The first Netflix Thai project, and the Ghost. So this one is actually technically a Singaporean project, but we filmed it mostly in Indonesia. Malaysia is like just there, and Indonesia is just there. Singapore is a little tiny island, kind of in between these two much larger countries. So you could literally go to Indonesia or Malaysia for lunch if you really needed to.
Oh, wow.
They're quite close. It's yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm currently working on. That what I'll be working on next, I have absolutely no idea at the moment. I've got a little bit of a gap coming up, which I plan to have a couple of months gap. But I'm already talking to people as to what will be next. One of which is a virtual production thing, So the big thing in visual effects right now is this virtual production using the LED walls with.
Oh yeah, those are amazing. Especially, they're using them in Star Trek. They're using them in everything now.
Yeah. Mandalorian kind of brought it. It's something that's been evolving actually for quite a while. But then Mandalorian really kind of came in with a bang to kind of use it and promote it and things like that. So it suddenly became everybody's interest. So I've had multiple people contact me over the last few years about that. So there's Baz's Viper. Yes. I see that's in the preview window. Sorry, there we go. Yes.
Sorry.
So yeah. That's a crazy Australian down in Canberra.
We love Baz.
Yes. So wonderful. I'm hoping to get over to actually visit that Mark II sometime soon. So, but it's amazing. Talk about the fans earlier, and it's like, wow, he's next level fan. That's I build models and movies, but if I had room, who knows?
Why not? Let's put one in the bedroom. Yeah.
Well, not in Singapore. It would be the bedroom.
Yeah. Probably New York's the same way, by the way.
Yeah.
DC.
To be honest, I mean, Singapore is much like Manhattan, really. You've got 5 people in an island that is about 25 miles wide and about 15 miles high. So it's
Jeez.
It's very similar to Manhattan, or in that sort of respect. Yeah. So there's not a lot of space for stuff. So
Lee, what's your favorite Lego?
Oh, I'm a big. Hold on. Do I have it? Oh, actually. Wait. I don't have anything directly at hand. I'd have to get up and walk over there. Hold on. Let me see if I can reach this without having everything fall down in front of me.
This is for all our Lego fans.
Okay.
All the Lego fans. Here we go.
Do you recognize? This is classic space in the late 70s, early 80s. So if you watch the Lego movie, there was the crazy blue spaceman, Benny.
Yeah.
Who was a little bit wacko. Yeah, that's me. In a way. Not me, but yeah. I think because the thing is that came out in 78, and in 78 I was 10. Star Wars had just
the same age.
Along. Suddenly there's Lego space, and the weird thing is actually I didn't have that many of the sets as a kid. Didn't have any money at that time. Not saying I have a couple of cabinets full of them, but there might be some over there.
Oh yeah, I was a big Lego person when I was growing up. It was all the they didn't have all the Star Wars and things like that when I was growing up, but they had the space. They had the space groups. So I bought
Yes.
every Christmas I had all the space stuff. It was the most, it was a magical time,
That's what's over there in that cabinet. There's a whole bunch. Yes, is over there. So I mean, I remember as a kid. I don't have any pictures. It's it's in my head. I don't know how bad it would have looked at the time. But I built a space shuttle. I built a sandcrawler. I built a an Eagle transporter. I built whatever. But my what I could make of it out of my Lego.
With what you got, yeah.
Yeah, what I got, I the only thing I can definitely remember was that I built a pretty decent sized space shuttle. Now, again, this is in my head of a 10-year-old or 12-year-old. I don't remember exactly how big it was, but I didn't have a lot of white bricks, and I remember I had to use all the white bricks for the shuttle, and I think I had enough to do the boosters. And this was when the main middle was still white at the very, very beginning. They painted it white, not orange. And I remember my middle tank was basically made up of all the other bricks I had, because that was the biggest thing. So I remember it being red and yellow and blue. And then what I had some plastic. It was like I don't know if it was plastic or paper. It was like a sticky, like craft paper that has a stickiness on it. And I remember getting some white and essentially wrapping it around the fuel tank to make it white. And then I had that was the closest I could get to making a space shuttle, because I didn't have enough white bricks. That's one of the things I do remember. But I definitely remember, building my versions of, because yes, it was before any sort of licensing was done, and so there wasn't any. But anyway, yeah.
Lee, do you have the Death Star?
I do not. I don't have the large Falcon. The weird thing is the big $1,000 Millennium Falcon. Here's how weird. My wife actually asked me about 6 months ago. She found it somewhere on sale, and she was like, "You've been looking at this one. Do you want to get it?" And I was like, I actually said no. Seriously, the only reason I said no was I literally don't have room. And the thing is that I have a replica of the 32-inch Millennium Falcon that's based on there was a company called D'Agostini that did this Build the Millennium Falcon thing. Over a 2-year thing where you could buy the parts. But I've also then spent an insane amount of money and time completely stripping all the detail off of it because it wasn't good enough, redetailing it as the original. So that's my hobby now. My hobby is I got into a lot of this stuff because of things like Lego, and as a kid I was building model kits, and kind of got out of it for a long time, but then got back into it because one of the things, a lot of people ask me, like, how do I learn all this stuff? How do I get into CGI and 3D and all this sort of stuff? And basically my go-to question is actually learn practical stuff. Don't initially get directly into what software do I need to learn and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, the software is just a tool. You need to know how to make stuff and how to do stuff. So I'm always
mediocre modeler at.
Yeah, build model kits, build Legos, because Legos. There is no Legos. Lego. It's more about just having a way to understand three-dimensional space and understand real stuff before you then digitize and go into the computer. But do drawing, do painting, do sculpture, do photography with a real camera, with a real lens, with real, with actual lights. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money, make stuff out of paper, make stuff out of cardboard. It doesn't matter. That's what I did when I was younger. So the more I got into doing stuff on the computer and digital stuff, the more I actually got back into doing models and miniatures and painting, things like that, because you want your eyes and your hands are what you use, and it's all well doing it on the computer here, but you really want to keep the real skills going. And I always tell people as well that you learn an awful lot about how to make things in the computer by making things in real world. So if you can understand how something goes together or takes apart, or how you paint something in the real world, then it makes it much easier to understand when you're in the digital world. And you'll understand that the digital world, it's just another tool in the toolbox. It's kind of going, well, look, and everybody goes, oh yeah, but models and miniatures are better. I'm like, well, they were and are in some ways, and they've still got a valid use today. Like when we did Ghost Bride, the main house that you see in the Ghost Bride, that's in this kind of underworld, that was a miniature. We built a miniature for it.
Wow.
Mainly, to be honest, because the production designer was like, I can't afford to build this house. Okay, we can build the front of the house. We can build the front of the house where the door is, and then we can do the rest digitally. And I'm like, well, it's going to cost this much to do it digitally and whatever. And then he was like, the production designer actually said to me, like, how about we build a miniature? And I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. We'll build a miniature. So miniatures still definitely have a use, especially for lighting, or as a guide for lighting. So anyway, yeah, I do a lot of practical stuff, and I like to keep doing stuff practically because it's the best way to. And so anybody out there who wants to get into VFX, learn the real world stuff first. It'll help you in the digital world. The digital stuff's just a tool.
Wow.
Hear that, mediocre modeler? I don't think he's on tonight, but
we have yeah, I think he is. I'm pretty sure he is. Lee, thank you so much for your insights. We would love to have you come back when you have, the next phase, your next show that's coming out, or for any particular reason, anything you want to, pass on to the fans. We would love to have you come back. We appreciate your time, and we're fans of yours. And we thank you for all your great creativeness and everything you've done so far. So from us here in the States and IFB, thank you very, very much. Chris?
I think it's like I said, it's amazing to talk to somebody who has helped create the worlds that we love. And and you have definitely done that in regards to, CGI and everything else. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, as you can, I tell everybody, there's a lot of crap up here that I'm happy to get out. And I was influenced by so many people, and I tried to, learn, and I still learn from them. I still study what they did, whether it's Ray Harryhausen or Walt Disney or Joe Johnston or, Ralph McQuarrie or any of these people, that are involved. There's so many of them, I lose track. I still study, the stuff that they did, whether it was 50 years ago or 10 years ago. So I'm happy if I can help anybody, or at least point them in the right direction, I'm more than happy to do that and to help. So no, thank you for having me on. And we really didn't talk much about New Galactica. So there is a whole. We could be we're going to do another show, but we're not going to talk about Firefly.
Let's reschedule that for another time. Yeah, let's come back. Let's do a Battlestar Galactica time.
Well,
please come back.
We didn't touch on actual New Galactica. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, it opens the door to have you come back, Lee. Honestly, we would love to have you come back. It would be a shame, a crying shame, to put you in a corner and not let you bring out all of your creativity. And it has to start somewhere. And I'm glad that we were able to cover some of these other things. And like I said, you're welcome to come back. We would love to have you come back and talk to us about, the rest of it, or the Galactica. Yes, absolutely. Open doors, sir.
Well, anytime. Just reach out to me. Let me know when is a good time for you. Pretty much, as I say, in a couple of months, I'll be, unless I get another job pop up, I'll be quite free right now because as I say, I'm finishing the project. I have a planned break. The fun part with this industry is, you never know if that planned break is going to be 3 days or 3 months, or it could be, you never know. So, but yeah, hopefully it's not too long. So anyway, yes, I'm be happy to come back and talk more.
Maybe we'll be able to get Eric on at the same time. So I tried to get Eric on this time, but he said he was busy. So, but
okay, I think he's on his way to Wonderfest in Louisville.
Yes, he is.
For which I did a few years ago as well. So as I say, we all go to Wonderfest because that's where we get to both meet. But it's also Fest is all about models and miniatures and real world stuff. It's not about CGI stuff really, but we're all fans of that as well. And as I say, I like to build. So yeah.
Lee, stay safe, and until we meet again, we will be in touch. Thank you so much. All the best.
Yep, you're amazing, sir. Thank you so much, and thanks for fueling the fleet.
Okay, will do. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Take care, Lee. Thank you so much. Guys, right? We bring to you the top of the industries, and we bring it with great pride, and you know that we love this as much as you guys do, and we appreciate all our guests. And it's right when you get that insight, right, Chris? We got to hear some really cool stuff, man. I mean, where else can you get that, right, than getting behind the scenes and getting those, the creative parts of, those that are out there and doing it, like you always said, right? It's one thing to get the face people and those that are, the actors that portray our favorite characters, but there's a lot more to be said for those that have the creativity that make it all happen, right, Chris?
Right. I mean, this is like I said, this person has done so much for a fandom. I don't know if he realizes it, but he creates the worlds that we want to live in, and that's
exactly.
That's important to have a distinction like that. I mean, from Firefly to even Iron, the Iron Sky. I mean, the amazing pieces that are created, by him and his team. I mean, he works with other people too, I admit, but that creates that world. That creates that world inside our heads, and that creates the world that we want to live in. That creates the world that we follow. That wish that we could be there. I think that's it's a very special talent, and I wish I had as much talent as they did, but I don't.
and that's why you're here.
And that's why I'm here. Because I wouldn't fit in anywhere else.
Hi everyone. I am the Tipsy Toaster, and I am not creative enough to.
Hi. Well, I'm the Tipsy Toaster. I'm not
no. Wait a second. That's actually not factual, because you and I just finished writing our own script.
Well, yeah.
So we're going to be doing, we've mentioned this before, guys. We're putting together our own team, and we're going to do our own fan film, and we're still, hammering out some of the details, and it's going to be an homage to our beloved Battlestar Galactica 1978. And we're going to keep you in the loop a little bit more as we proceed into this project.
Yep.
But Chris, you set up, I think.
So we did set up a new spot for it. So we didn't. So IFB is a not for profit, and we don't want to be anything looked for. Like we're begging for money or anything like that. So we like to keep because we're not. So we like to keep those separated. So we went ahead and separated this idea that we've had and the thing we're going to work on, and we've created another location. So let me find it real quick. I don't know if I can. So we created another. We created our own production company. Put it on IMDb with everything else that we have, and we got Tipsy Toaster Productions. So if you look for that on Facebook now, and I'm trying to find it, so give me a second. And once again,
we're gonna have some.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with it.
Fun with this. Yeah, this is our way to giving back a little bit and capitalizing on something that we all grew up with, that we enjoyed. And as a lot of you guys know, the reason that this show exists is because Chris and I are big Battlestar Galactica fans, and unfortunately, the pandemic, put the damper on a lot of different activities, both professional and fan based. However, what came out of that is the fact that Chris and I we're able to bring our passion for sci-fi together, and we have this show. And out of all of that, guys, is the fact that we've always wanted to, do something with, the BSG
Right.
world. And so
Yeah,
here it is.
1978 BSG world, and face it, it's not something you can make money off of, but it's something I think you understand that we, just like everybody that watches the show, it's a love. So we figure, why not throw some passion into creating some multimedia? We're creating shows, and we reach out to people there. But now, what if we can create some stories? And you always sit down and you go to cons and you talk to people who love Battlestar Galactica 1978 or whatever else, and they're like, well, what if Starbuck did escape the planet Starbuck, or what if this happened? What if that happened? So Pete and I got together and we said, you know what? One of the stories that doesn't get covered well, and it's not one of my favorite episodes, to tell you the truth, but one of the stories that it doesn't get covered well is the one episode called not the Young Warrior. Oh my gosh, the Lost Warrior. So it's kind of a Shane. A lot of people say it was modeled after Shane, the Western. And there's some backstory there that just doesn't get filled in. You get kind of dropped into an environment, and you get a lot of questions to yourself. It's like, what if, or who did, or why this? So we went ahead and created a script that discussed the person who crashed there, which was Martin, and we created a script that we're going to try to run about 15 to 20 minute video of, an actually movie of, and it will discuss where Martin came from, why he crash landed there, and what happened to him. All we know is, he died. That's all we know. So, spoiler alert.
Right. And he's stranded. There's a bunch of stuff. I did a fanfic about the backstory of Lost Warrior 2 once. Eric, we want to.
I have to read that one. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we want to read that. So we need to get that. But yeah, so we created a backstory to why he got stranded, why they left him there. How did the Cylon, the Red Eye, end up with Lacerda? And so we kind of fleshed this whole thing out. The script is done. It's version 5. Now we're gonna have someone look at it and polish up the dialogue and maybe a little bit, a couple of maybe some rough edges. And then once that's done, we will finish reformatting it, and then we're going to move forward. And we've been putting together a team behind the scenes, guys, and we wanted to bring it up. I think it was the right segue to kind of let everybody know. So stay tuned. We're going to have some fun with that, and we're going to try to get as many of you involved as possible. And I think we're going to have a good time with this. It's a little bit of a showcase, so to speak, for everybody that's talented and everybody that's involved in sci-fi in this way. And so, hey, we'll have some fun with it. But
why not create something more? Why not create more of the thing content that we love?
Yes, exactly. That's it. That is the best way to understand what it is and why we're doing it. Is why not make more of what we love? So, Eric says should be fun. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, Brand from USS Tiburon, this is very cool, guys. Brand, thanks for joining us, and thank you for the compliments. As a matter of fact, Paul Evans was on with us as well. Paul was a guest not too long ago. He is the preeminent Buck Rogers collector and aficionado with his own Facebook group. Thank you for tuning in, and everybody else that's been on. I think... Do we have John 1 in the wings?
I'm sure his audio is working yet, but we'll find out in a minute.
Okay.
Hang on, John.
Brigitte, stay tuned. Battlestar, what Battlestar was Martin assigned to? Well, John,
exactly.
We assigned him to one. We got all that. We're going to have a really good time with this, and hopefully you guys will too. And like I said, we'll keep you posted as we get out of, we're still obviously in the pre-production stage, but we're working towards getting this done. And we have some of the most talented people out there in fandom working. Do you have a Cylon horse? Paul, That
No.
is to be determined. No, there is no Cylon horse. Not at least in our script.
Not yet. Not yet. Maybe that'll be that'll be part 2 of the story, but
Yes. So, but anyway, look, since we had Mr. Lee Stringer on, and he's a special effects guy and stuff. Chris and I just polished off the script. Actually, today was the last revision that we're doing before we get it.
we send it off to our
Yeah.
script editor, which is
Yes.
Fran, by the way. Hi, Fran. You're our new script editor, by the way.
Yes. So the possibilities are endless for filling in some backstory. That's the best part about Galactica creativity. Exactly. That's why I picked that. I thought it was fantastic. The mystery of Martin, it's been around forever in my mind. What about Cylon Daggett? Yes, Cylon Daggett's too. I'm surprised Red Eye got on a horse. No kidding. But all of that said, John 1 is in the wings. He's been waiting patiently. He put together
time for
segment
sci-fi
for us.
news. Yeah.
Let's do it. Bring on John 1.
Give me a second.
All right.
I gotta turn John's audio on. There we go. Now let's try
do you
it.
have the actual? All right.
Hey,
here
John.
We go. Hey, John.
How are you guys?
Welcome.
Good.
Good, man.
Wow, great news. That was a good interview.
That was
Yeah, man. Oh my God. That was
Isn't he amazing?
freaking
I can't wait to
awesome.
talk.
Wow.
This is one of the guys you can sit down and have a couple of beers and just talk for hours. I
Oh,
wonder how much a flight to Singapore is.
just don't bring your gum and drop it.
Oh yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That's some
goodness.
exciting news about the movie you guys doing. That's really good.
Yeah, we can't wait. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
man.
fun.
Wow.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, you're in on it. Don't worry, John. You're a part of it.
Oh, anything I can do. I'll hold the waters. I get waters and coffees. I'll hold what's that big prop thing?
What was that? Waters?
Spoon?
Waters?
Water.
What's a water?
Water.
Oh, John, let me translate it because he doesn't understand.
I don't understand what a water is.
H2O. It's H2O. Is that better, Chris? Can you understand that now?
What
Oh
what are
my
you
God.
talking about?
Oh boy, let it go, dude. Let it go. Don't worry, we'll send him back to school. He's got to relearn English.
I can go back up to New York, figure it all out.
He's
yeah,
a
so
man
you know what it's really
of many languages.
Ready,
I'm ready.
Chris? What are you doing, man? Just
What do
get
you
it
mean, what am I
up.
doing?
Let's go. Yeah, you're like looking over to something else.
Well,
Just
I'm
get
working
that.
on getting his slides up.
Ah, there we
Nice.
are. Fantastic.
All right.
Booties
Trying to-
repair
Ran
him.
the,
Yeah.
ran the daggers. They're about to fight each other.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy, fight to the death.
Come over here. All right, there you go. All right, good. All right.
All right.
All right, we
Piece
have
of
some
static.
updates for some anticipated shows. The Bad Batch Season 2 will be storming Disney Plus this fall. Probably right after this much anticipated series, which more and more actors are going on to it. Andor has finally has a release date. 12 episode run, which will air August 31st on Disney Plus. Looking forward to that. So looking forward to that show. But we shall see.
Excellent.
Another show that was accidentally leaked on the first the trailer was She-Hulk, which will be coming on August 17th on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah. There's
She-Hulk
something
is
about
okay.
green girls, man. I love Orions.
Orions.
Gamora had like a really good green, but She-Hulk, her green is very off-putting. But whatever.
Yeah, it is.
What is she not the right color? I mean, are we Verde
Gosh, she looks like
racist?
an Orion more than anything
No.
else. I don't know. That's weird. There's no
That's what I was
complaints,
reading about. I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh, she's green. It's maybe because the
It's
the
not the
CGI
right
is
color
kinda messed up
green.
on it.
I don't know. There's people talking about it, and it's not flattering. So I don't know.
Oh,
we'll
no.
see.
That's all the ultra conservatives of the colors. I was like throwing out, hey, it's a good show. Enjoy it. If you enjoy it,
Exactly. Yeah, what the hell, man?
I'll be on. All right, August 17th. All right, and let's see. Willow the Serials will finally come back to this fall.
Ooh.
He's finally back again. Our little wizard. This takes place after the movie, so I don't know if Val Kilmer's going to show up. But that's good. He meets
Oh,
a
boy.
bunch of new actors and heroes, and they go off and gallivant in a magical world, which should
Okay.
be good for Disney.
Eh.
Everything's being pushed off because that Amazon series, The Lord of the Rings, is just going to knock everything out of the ratings box. So nothing's really coming in September.
No.
This is true.
That's just going
This
to be a
is true.
powerhouse.
Oh yeah.
So, and there's another movie coming. I had to say it. I can't believe it. They're making remakes of everything. The two are back. Beavis and Butthead will star in a new movie.
Oh God. Oh boy.
Beavis and Butthead, and Beavis and Butthead do the universe, and I guess they go out. The NSA is trying to find these two as they disappear, and they end up in space. So it's being billed as the worst sci-fi movie ever.
Oh no.
And another season 2 has just been renewed for Our Flag Means Death. This is a comedy series on HBO Max. It's from that Australian actor, Watiti. He did Galaxy, the comedian. It's based on a true story about an English nobleman who decides to leave his castle and tries to be a pirate. So it's pretty funny. Check it out. It's on HBO Max. And what else? And the next thing, the Princess is coming out July 1st. It's a live action movie about a princess being hijacked and she's trying to escape. And it's a medieval action series. And I think I'm really going to get it. And that's coming out on
No.
Don't talk. That's coming out on Netflix, July 1st. And next one is on AMC, Dark Winds. It's about Native American police officers on a reservation. And they investigate crimes, maybe supernatural thrillers. Rainn Wilson plays a creepy missionary. So
I can
that should
tell
be
you,
pretty good. That's coming on June 12th.
Yeah, I just came back from the Navajo reservation not too long ago, and believe it or not, this is going to be interesting. I think because there are a lot of superstitions and things like that the Navajo that they believe in or they hang on to in regards to their traditions, and it should be really interesting. I think this would be a really good tie-in, especially since talking to them in regards to some of the things that they still believe in.
Yeah, it's the reservation was in Arizona, so a lot of stuff, a lot of supernatural in the Southwest.
No, it's part of it's a cultural thing, and it's part of their folklore, and overlaps into religion as well and their history. So I know that obviously this is a fictional representation, but I'm sure it has elements in it. I know that there's books, John, that this comes from. It's a series of books, and they're very, very popular. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm definitely going to watch.
I'm going to have to find the books.
A really good series. So
I'm looking forward to it.
And that's coming out June 12th.
Cool.
And Evil Season 3, if you guys catch on Evil Season 3, that's coming on Paramount Plus. There's a third season now. He's a priest now, and they're still fighting demons. And I saw the trailer. There's a demon on a walker, a treadmill. So
boy, okay.
Should be good.
All right.
And let's see. We have
it's funny, I think my treadmill is a demon, but
and the books I'm going to pick for June is one is The Peacekeeper. This is an alternate history book. It's about America it takes place in America that was never colonized, and it's about a Ojibwe sergeant trying to investigate the murder of his mother.
Interesting.
So I kind of like
Is it an audio book too?
It's interesting. It's an audio.
Oh yeah.
I think it's
John, we should do an alternate history book and movie TV. I mean, there's a whole bunch we could do, but I've read a lot. I've read a lot of alternate history stuff, so we should do an episode dedicated to that, because you can cover from book to TV to movies and hit on some really cool stuff. So, all right, I'm gonna look into that one too.
There's a lot of cool stuff, and the next one is what is it? Ornate Monsters. It's about a group of orphans in Victorian England, and they team up with a detective, and they solve crimes. So it's another natural show. I kind of like that type of history. So I'm trying to get into steampunk. Cool. It's kind of steampunkish, but it looks pretty good.
I did see a trailer for it. They were working on that for a while, so cool. So
hopefully see how it is. I'll take it up. And Inquisitor, we have you back. Go get that Jedi scum. Really improve. impressed by the series, and I think tomorrow's episode is going to be quite shocking for Darth Vader because they're going to show him in a more evil light.
Oh boy, more evil than he already has been.
Yeah, I thought it came out on Wednesdays.
Wow,
it comes out on
right.
does it come out Wednesdays or Fridays?
Oh, the last one was I just watched one, so it said Wednesdays, I think.
Oh, well, I will.
You're behind already, sir. You better jump on that.
See the one with
I got Disney Plus right now. I was waiting for Friday.
Oh,
I think
boy.
Fridays was
Stranger Worlds on today,
Mandalorian.
too,
Wednesdays is this one.
Strange New Worlds, man. I heard it's a good one. I'm going to definitely watch that.
Today was good
yeah.
episode. Even better last week, and tomorrow the boys come out. Season 3, the boys start tomorrow.
Oh, that's another good one.
I haven't watched any of the boys yet.
And we got to tell some of the Star Wars fans that are getting a little out of hand, guys, take it easy, will you?
Yeah, really.
All right, calm down. Yeah, come on.
Although
let's keep the toxic where it belongs.
I hate the character. I'm like, I hate you. You're a really good actress, but man, I hate your character.
Yeah, but that's not. That's
what it's supposed to be, though. I mean, I get it.
Yeah. Come on, man. Let's keep it in check. The toxicity has no place in the fandom, guys. So let's back off, right? Let's keep it in check. You can like and you can dislike, right, John?
I mean, we were fans for a long time. We were nerds when nerds wasn't cool. So being nerds, we'd all come together. We'd talk about our favorite stuff, and we took you for who you were. And that's the way sci-fi is.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the fans like this now. We all come up, we all come together, we sit there and we talk, and we enjoy the things that make us sci-fi fans. And this is a good example. Everyone
come on, man.
It. You feel good about the character. You enjoy the story. That's the way it should be. That's sci-fi. That's how we feel Fleet.
100%. 100%. John, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you sticking around and you throwing up some good questions. And not to mention, John, you were able to get us with Galactifrac, which is the French Battlestar Galactica group. They have Jerome has a Facebook page, and he also has a podcast that he does in France. And he is going to be a guest of ours July 7th. So stay tuned for that. He wants to let us know and give us insights on what it is to be a fan of Battlestar Galactica in France. So looking forward to that. Thank you, John, for taking
interesting. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. At the June 6th, we have G.P. Hudson, award-winning author. And he's got a series of books out there. I think, John, I think you were involved with that one as well. Von Babison, June 23rd is coming back, and he's going to talk to us again with about the Thing and there's
celebration of the 40th anniversary of the Thing.
Celebration, yeah. Chris, you were able to lock down Paragon, and they're coming on June
Paragon
30th.
on the people who just got the new permissions from Universal. The license for Battlestar Galactica stuff. So 2004 and 1978. So we'll actually be able to talk to the designer of Paragon and see what they may have planned or what maybe we can talk them into.
Oh, hell yeah. So, hey, come on, guys. It's a perfect opportunity. And
you'll be able to reach out and talk to the designer for that company. So that would be a good idea to, that'd be a good night to bug the snot out of him.
Yeah, no kidding. That'd be awesome. We also have guests coming from, let's see, there's another company that, Chris, you were able to get, and they are putting together certain, I guess, costumes.
Yeah, so we did a review of some of the costumes they had a couple of weeks ago. They had it's really a T-shirt, but it looks just like the uniform, which is amazing. In hot weather right now would be the great thing to wear instead of, trying to find the really thick stuff. So it's a nice breathable cotton. Looks just like the real thing. And of course, if you put a jacket over top of it, it's still summertime, but at least it's somewhat cooler if you're going to try to cosplay. So I think it's really cool. It's done very well. We did a couple of we did an overview of it and brought it on camera. See if you want to go back and look at that. I can't remember. It was about 3 weeks ago, I think. But they'll be coming on and talking about some of the things that they've done and their love for sci-fi, as well as upcoming products that they may be creating.
Yeah, that's July 14th. And then we'll skip ahead to July 28th. We have Marnine Lynn Fields.
Amazing.
She was stunt woman, I believe, in the original
Battlestar
Battlestar Galactica
story.
1978.
Yeah, so I really can't wait to talk to her. She has an amazing story. She was a stunt woman. She's also a singer, songwriter. She's been, she's had many life challenges that she's overcome to be where she's at now. But she was one of the stunt people on Battlestar Galactica that did that for females. She also doubled for Athena.
Oh boy!
So
come on!
Maybe she can get me in touch with her.
Oh boy, you need to calm down, man.
Probably
but she
not,
is.
We'll try.
She has a fantastic background, and once so much. So yeah. So we're looking forward to having her on the show, and just want to let you guys know what we have set up. Oh, and don't forget that we're gonna have some interviews and the like from the convention, right? So that's coming up.
We're headed there this weekend. Tomorrow is the start of AwesomeCon. They're expecting about 70,000 people here in Washington D.C. So I will be one of them. I'll be the 70,001, and Fran will be 70,002, and my daughter will be 70,003. And Mr. Zuvalos is 70,004. So we're gonna party like it's 2022.
1978.
Party like it's 1978.
1978. Yeah. So, what the hell?
I need to smoke cigarettes and walk around in bell bottoms, but that would be the 1978 version. So we're looking forward to it. We'll get some good interviews out of it. We've requested a couple interviews. We'll see how it goes. I mean, once again, we believe fans fuel the fleet. We want to go in there and talk to a lot of the fans. We'll have CMOD, the Colonial Ministry of Defense will be there. We'll try to meet up with them. I'm going to try to go to dinner with them. We're going to have Fran there and Mr. Zuvalos and all. It'll be great. We're going to have a good time, and just get a couple interviews in for fun of it. Unfortunately, Pete, you won't be able to make it.
Yep, the corona's got me, so I'm getting over that. So I will not be able to get my way there.
Corona. I wonder if that's a song.
That's right. But nonetheless, we have in the future we have Knoxville and New York Comic Con and some of the others. So regretfully, I will not be able to get there. Rob,
all right, Pete,
Bound,
we'll have more fun than you will, I'm sure. So
yeah, I know. But Rob, thanks for joining us. Better late than never. Wish I could be there to see Fran too. So much we have to catch up on, says Professor Eric Patton. We're going to have a get together at some point, man.
Yeah,
Come
we're
on,
going to have another
everybody.
get together. I think she's coming. I think she's going to join us at Knoxville as well. And
yes,
I'm trying to talk her into Dragon Con in Atlanta.
I don't think that's happening, but not that Dragon Con needs anybody else going. But Knoxville, guys, we're going to Knoxville.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that, and fingers crossed, everything all the planets will align. But we had a really good time, and having Lee Stringer on board, that was a windfall. So
I can't wait.
Thank
to
you
talk to
for
again.
coming on. Oh man,
like I said, how much a flight to Singapore is.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to squeeze in as many questions as I could, guys, just so that we were getting things where our connection was kind of faulty there at the end. So I kind of would rather have him, get his story out than to interrupt him. So that's one of the reasons I wasn't able to, kind of get in all the rest of our comments and questions, but I did the best I could. And I know you guys appreciate that. And so just wanted to let you know that I pay attention. I'm reading them here on the side. So if Chris ain't reading them, I am. And so we try to get as many as we can. And I know Paul and Eric and Carl and all of you guys and Paul and John and Bran. I mean, everybody was Baz, everybody was putting up stuff, and I was doing my best to keep up with it. And Chris Laskowski, and I mean, just all you out there, and John Repper and everybody else that's on here. Thank you so much for joining us, and I think we had a pretty good time, and we're happy to be able to announce that we're also going to throw our towel into the ring of fan film. And
yeah, why not? I mean, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, I almost did one. I almost did one when I was in the
78.
501. Yeah, well, it was called The Ashes of Alderaan, and I was talked out of doing it back in the day, and no regrets. But here's my chance. I actually did my own fan film called The Tower Protocol with George G and GX2 Productions, and that was one of the few films that I've worked on myself, and now I get to do another one. So, guys, have a look at the interview I had with Lee. You will get some good stuff there as well. Yes, Baz, Lee did mention that. So that's right. Baz had a really good interview, builds by Baz. If you want to know a little bit more background.
Definitely
on,
check out
Lee
his,
Stringer.
his blog on that, which has got
Oh, heck
really
yeah.
in-depth information in regards to the Viper itself.
Yeah. Absolutely. So sorry, guys, power went. John won. Thanks for doing what you do as well. Keep up the good work, John. Really appreciate it. Just so everybody else knows that, John behind the scenes is also doing a lot of things for us. He's always making connections, getting us, interviews and the like. So, John, take care of business, man. No worries. And I don't know. I mean, I see that Lee is hanging on in the wings.
It's great.
Any final words,
Lee?
Lee?
All to ourselves here in a minute.
Oh boy! But anyway, Chris, you're packed and ready to go to the convention.
Yep.
Make sure you bring us back some really good cosplay, because I know that you're gonna have one of our other teammates, which is a cosplay aficionado,
yes,
and is really, really big into that stuff. So Tricky Faye is going to cover.
She joined us
just
in Dragon Con. So
Dragon Con last year. So yes, excellent. We'll have a good time with that. Send my regards to everybody, and we will be in touch as I get over the Corona, and that's that. Corona. That's right. So luckily I didn't end up in the hospital, but that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. You're getting over it. You're making progress. That's important. So we all wish you well,
100%. Thank you very much. So guys, all good things. We owe everybody a chapter in Armageddon, Richard Hatch's Battlestar Galactica book. So that will come up.
Yep.
And the comic book. So
and we're getting close to the end, so pay attention. Look on the site for voting for the next book and voting for the next comic book that we go through. So
yeah, the next book is a big thing, and we're also going to, I think, Chris, that we're going to include fan fiction as well. So the next book is going to be it can be anything from the
fan fiction, regular fiction, whatever
fiction,
whatever you think we should.
And we're going to open it up. Didn't you say we were going to open it up to possibly Logan's Run?
Logan's Run. I mean, anything that anything that we possibly compare Logan's Run to the original episode, the original movie, or it's a trilogy, believe it or not. So there's a bunch of different books. So maybe you want us to cover that. I'm not throwing that out as a hey, let's do that one. But that's a possibility. Or the Battlestar Galactica novels, like. I think we left off with number 2. Maybe we want to go with number 3, The Tombs of Kobol, and see what how that one compares up to the episodes. But we'll throw a thing out there, see what everybody thinks, and then we'll go with it.
So keep the faith, guys, and thank you for tuning in. We love having you on board. Keep clicking the thumbs up, and don't forget to tell your friends about our show. If you want to contact us, you know where to find us. It's info@interfleetbroadcasting.com. And for me, New York Pete, stay safe. See you at our next show. Stay awesome, everybody, and fans fuel the fleet. Chris?
Right. You were all amazing. And we look forward to seeing you next week. And maybe we'll get some live stuff going on at the Comic-Con. we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm gonna, Pete and I are gonna sign off here, and we're gonna have Lee all to ourselves for however long he can hang on. So thank you for showing up tonight. Y'all take care. And once again, you are what keeps the fandom alive, because fans fuel the fleet. So here's to you.